Welcome to Wired Hunt Weekly. I'm Mark Kenyon, and this week we're going to be talking about the little things that lead to big bucks. Alright, so today we're talking about the small things that can make a big difference when it comes to hunting mature bucks. And if you take a look at the most recent issue of Deer and Deer Hunting magazine, on page 57, you'll see an article called Little Things Lead to Big Bucks, and it's written by yours truly. Now, this magazine is now available on newsstands, so if you don't subscribe to Deer and Deer Hunting, I encourage you to pick up a copy and check it out. But in the meantime, I wanted to use our video today to reiterate a few of the most important messages from this piece. So first, I want to share a quick story. You know, anytime that you have success and you kill a mature deer, it's the culmination of hundreds of small decisions and different factors all coming together to make this one single perfect moment. And it doesn't happen very often. You know, more often than not, something goes wrong along the way. Some little tiny detail gets out of whack and it throws the whole train off the tracks. But if you pay attention to those details, if you make those right decisions along the way, you can sometimes get to that destination just like you want to. So that said, I wanted to share a quick example from this past season with the deer I killed in December. Now, for example, if I hadn't decided on that night to really pay attention to how the wind was going to be changing direction partway through the evening, I would have never decided to hunt in the standing location that I did. I ended up choosing this certain spot because I could get away with the wind switching a little bit, heading from a south to southeasterly direction. I knew I could get away with the deer thinking that the wind was still in their favor, yet it would be blowing just past where I thought they'd be approaching from. It was a small detail, but it turned out to be really important in the end. Or take, for example, the fact that I had been paying attention to where I believed these deer had been bedded, and I knew that they'd be bedding just over this hilltop within the woods. Because I knew this, and because I was paying attention to this small detail and wanted to make sure I had a perfect entry route, I actually belly crawled 50 yards on the back side of a hill just to get into a spot that I could hunt on the ground there. If I hadn't belly crawled, if I hadn't been paying attention to the fact and the detail that I knew where these deer were bedded, I would have walked straight in, busted all the deer off that area, and never would have seen that buck later that evening. Or take, for example, where I ended up sitting. I had to hunt on the ground that day, and the one spot I could get to where I thought I could get a shot while still not spooking deer over the top of this hill, didn't present me a lot of good options. So I fiddled for probably 10-15 minutes just trying to get my seat proper, trying to look at how can I be comfortable so I can get a good shot yet still be hidden. And I ended up sitting on the back side of a hill behind a tree. It wasn't the most comfortable, but it gave me the best possible cover. And that ended up paying dividends because towards the end of the night, I had several bucks walk right past me, probably, 8 or 10 yards away. If I had been seated on the front side of the hill next to those trees, I would have been easily spotted, and they would have spooked and cleared the whole field. It was a small thing, but it made a huge difference because it allowed me to stay hidden, and not 5 or 10 minutes later, the buck I ended up shooting showed up. Or take, for example, the fact that after I shot that deer, I searched and searched, and I couldn't find any blood. I went back and forth probably 2 or 3 different times, and wasn't able to find anything. But I made the small decision, and I paid attention to the small detail that, hey, let's go back to the start one more time, number 4. Try one more time and just see if there's any little indication that I might have got a hit. So I did, and it was that 4th time, that extra effort I put into, that was when I ended up finding that little speck of blood. So that small detail made all the difference in the world. Those are just 4 small examples of ways that I was able to make the right decisions in small spaces, small different instances where a decision, a factor along the way, made a huge difference when it came to the ultimate outcome. And that said, this is my larger point here. We need to pay attention to the details. We can't be glossing over the little things. We can't be saying, it's good enough. If you want to consistently be killing mature bucks, you need to have this focus on the small things. Because it's all these tiny little decisions and factors along the way that lead to the great successes we all dream of. The legendary basketball coach from UCLA, John Wooden, once said that if you pay attention to the details, the big things will take care of themselves. I think that's what we can start to do here today. Let's cross our T's, let's dot our I's, let's not say it's good enough, let's not ignore the details. Let's make sure we remember the small things, Let's make those right decisions along the way, and let's do the work. This year, remember, it's the little things that help kill the biggest bucks.